Hey everybody, it's Christopher Dixieland Farm, and if you look, there's a lot of sunlight coming in through here, but I refuse to move. I also refuse to change the blind, so you're just going to have to deal with it. But here's something to ruminate over. John Cale's solo career is better than Lou Reed's solo career. Go ahead and put the pitchforks out now, but Lou Reed and John Cale were both in a band called the Velvet Underground. They formed the band, I guess, sort of together back when they worked at Pickwick Records, where Lou Reed was a staff writer and John Cale went on for some money as a writer. John Cale is a Welsh Englishman. He performs classical or avant-garde classical. He was in an avant-garde classical group in the mid-60s before joining Pickwick and before forming the Velvet Underground. So a lot of musical background knowledge, and the sound that is very important to the early Velvet Underground records are the electric viola. He played the electric viola on the Velvet Underground and Nico. This is a, I don't know if this is a first or a second pressing. Banana's long since gone. There's a way to tell, right, from the picture here, so with the airbrushed. So I'm going to assume that this is the second original pressing. Yeah. Very distinctive with songs like the Black Angels Death Song with the real scraping noise. Same thing with Venus and Furs, and Heroin really adds to that crazed sound of the Velvet Underground. And certainly with White Lightweight Heat, I believe this is a early pressing, maybe an original. I am not sure. This is, you'd have to hold it up, I guess, for the tattoo, and I don't think I see the tattoo. No, maybe I do. No, I don't. So this is a not first pressing, early pressing. This is from, both of those are from Bo, who's long since gone away from the VC and keeping in contact with anybody in the VC, I think. So, yeah. Interested in the Velvet Underground. Late 80s, the fact that the CDs came out at all is kind of impressive because they were a fairly obscure band, but they kept getting name checked by indie or alternative bands in the 80s. And the available music of John Cale was very limited. Even Lou Reed's solo career was fairly limited. You'd have to hit the used bins, but this was the time where people were converting from albums to CDs. So John Cale, never a big splash anyway in the States, and the only thing I could find of John Cale at the time was a bootleg from Revolver Records, which was on 8th Street in Greenwich Village, just a couple of doors down from Electric Ladyland Studios, and was this bootleg Kale Street. And this is in the early 80s. I assume he's still on drugs at that point. This is amazing bootleg because he's angry and unhinged. A little drugged up, so it's raw. It's raw, and the songs are just fantastic. This is like a best of sampler, just him. It's just one performer laying it all out there. I was able to find John Cale Vintage Violence. So imagine my surprise, and what a great cover. This is kind of an iconic cover. So this is on Columbia, his only record on Columbia, I believe. And, what's his wife's name is Betsy Johnson, right? Famous designer, I think, at the time. They get divorced. As a matter of fact, she catches somebody cheating on, catch them in the act. And that's part of one of the songs. Yeah. I don't know much about it. I imagine John Cale's no prince of a husband, at least in those days. And this is a complete pop album. It's a little off-kilter because it's John Cale, but it's just a sweet, wonderful little pop album. So his voice is probably what didn't sell this. But his influences were the Beach Boys, and you hear it all over this record. This is a great record, and it grows on me more and more as I listen to it. Love it. Love this album. All right, so he becomes a producer, produces the Stooges' first album, produces Jonathan Richman's The Modern Lovers, That's not really much of a stretch since Jonathan Richman's kind of in the Velvet Underground circle, so that makes sense. The Stooges, nah, I don't know. He's produced a couple other things, I think, too, but those are the ones that are sticking out at the moment. Here's an album on Warner Brothers. This is an Andy Warhol cover. Warhol. This is a UK, because you can tell from the flimsiness of it. And this is on Reprise. And yeah, this is a classical album. And it's great. And Legs Larry at the Television Center. Legs Larry Smith from Bonzo Dog Band does kind of a like a narration thing, similar to what he would do later on with Tubular Bells, right? Because isn't he or is that Vivian Stanshall? That might have been Vivian Stanshall. Similar idea. So what's up with the Bonzos doing some kind of weird narration on a record? I don't know. Great classical album, as well as Church of Anthrax. This is the best I could find. Was a LimeWire download back in the day. And this is with Terry Riley. Same thing, avant-garde, classical. Great. I got this, finally, the Warner Archives. Those were kind of like the, you know that you're hitting a small print number if you were on Warner Archives. And this is John Cale's Paris 1919. He calls it his Procol Harum album. This is still great pop. The subject matter is just pastoral, and it kind of describes and evokes the feeling of Paris 1919 art. And this is a Four Men with Beards pressing. I got this as VCLT from somebody who never made videos. I don't know why they sent it to me. I sent them something, and I think they sent this back. Maybe that's what it was. And it even comes with lyrics. And those are the words to the song, so you can read along. Great. For a Four Men with Beards pressing, this is actually very good, because normally they're trash. Just like my Velvet Underground Nico Four Men with Beards it's okay with my sound correcting computer that's in line, but yeah, you'd be pissed if you paid real money for that. 2007 pressing, great. This is a fantastic album. This album is better than Transformer. What? You can't say that, Chris. I'm saying it. I'm saying it's better than Transformer. Not by much, just by a little. This is, I would almost say, a perfect album, but maybe Macbeth. But sometimes I like the song Macbeth on here. Great. Dropped by the label because, I mean, I don't know how many tens of records he sold, but not many. Even in New York, this stuff was hard to find used in the bins, and usually it was in trash condition. So he gets moved over to Ireland, and here is Fear, which is Fear is a Man's Best Friend. And this also has Ship of Fools, which is a great song, and Gun, right? That's a good song, I think, too. Phil Manzanera is doing guitars on this, and Eno's on this, so you got part of Roxy Music or 801, right? So 801, did that also include John Cale? Maybe. He also did a famous concert with Nico and Lou Reed in '74. Was it June 1st, 1974? That picture, I think, sums up how John Cale's life is going. It's not going very well at all. Is this a UK pressing? I can't tell, but I'm going to assume it's not. Probably because of the condition. But this says it was England, right? So this says it's an English pressing. This has Mr. Wilson and Taking It All Away. Darling, I Need You. Well, that's a great song, too. Problem with these two albums are they're played up with a band, and they lose something. They get a little too much of a production sheen on them that takes away the rawness that is John Cale. It's just a little... The songs are fantastic, right? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so you know it's a UK because of the corners cut here, right? So it's just a little... It's not overproduced, but it takes away some of the rawness and bite of John Cale. His third island record, Helena Troy, best I could find was a WinMX download at the time. This has Cable Hog and The Close Watch. And Leaving Out to You, that's the song about him and his wife cheating. And even does a version of Pablo Picasso. Not as good as Jonathan Richman, but still, Helena Troy. This was really, I found this once, it was like $35, and for a college student, that was way too much. Those island records were released, I think, as a 2 CD set called Seducing Down the Door, I think. Somewhere in the mid-90s, and then they disappeared. Now you can get them. It's not a problem. But when I was getting this stuff, it was hard to find. John Cale got this for $5, and this is on Island. This is the best of, so it's the best of those things. This is probably all you need from the Island years, but there you go. John Cale. Hey, Phil Collins did drums. Look at that. Fantastic. Lou Reed did a live album in 1978 called Take All Prisoners. It shows that he's a crazed performer that you never know what you're going to get. Since most of that album is him talking and not actually singing. And fake shooting up heroin on stage. Or maybe it was real, but I think it was fake. Here's John Cale, Sabotage live. And a promo, if that matters to you. Bought this for $10. This, as a band, John Cale's playing fretless bass, viola, there's keyboards, percussions. Recorded at CBGB's. So, small venue. This is crazed punk energy. That back cover is not lying. This is crazed punk energy. By the way, I saw Lou Reed live once. And I saw him in person once. And man, this is sort of on IRS Records. Look at that. It's kind of a subsidiary. Look at that. So I saw him live perform once, and then I saw him just at a Jonathan Richman show. He was there with Penn Jillette, and they were in the... I saw a lot of people at a Jonathan Richman show. I saw Kurt Loder, and I saw Mo Tucker. Being a New Yorker, I did not say hello to any of those people. I think I nodded at Kurt Loder, like, because he was standing right next to me. Just want to be polite. I saw John Cale perform live 4 times. One of them was free at Central Park with Stereolab was the opener. Stereolab opened up. That was during Emperor Tomato Ketchup, and then John Cale was and there's a bootleg of this, and I've got the bootleg. How wonderful is that? And I also saw him perform a one-man solo acting show. And then as I was down trying to figure out what we should do, I saw John Cale on the street. And we either we were just wondering which direction he was going to be heading, but not following him. So we may have tagged along for a block while we tried to figure out our life. Didn't say anything, but hey, John Cale is right standing next to you. End of stories. Oh, those John Cale concerts were fantastic. The Lou Reed concert wasn't great. That wasn't great for the money. That was at the Beacon. That was a big theater. John Cale I saw at the bitter end, I think a couple of times, and then one time somewhere else. Here is an 80s album. Honnête Soit. I remember this being a good album too. Oh, it's got Riverbank on it. That's all I can say about this album. Have a live, not a live, have kind of I think this is a instrumental classical, I'm not sure. It's been a while. John Cale, Bob Newirth, Last Day on Earth. Maybe it's a concept album. I don't know. Probably should research these things before I do videos, but I'm not doing that. I don't know what this is, to be honest with you. Oh, I also forgot to pull out the Lou Reed and John Cale's Songs for Drella album, which was a collaboration after Andy Warhol died. And they did this musical tribute to Andy Warhol. They got along well enough that they actually did a Velvet Underground reunion. They said, oh, we can patch up our differences. And then, like 10 dates in, they're like, oh, actually we can't. We hate each other. Or I would imagine everyone said, oh, I hate Lou Reed. And it never made it to America. And it made me sad, but there's a live document of that. And you can buy a live album, which is not great. It's got all the downfalls of what the later Lou Reed stuff has, where it just seems like he wants to get out of there when he plays the music. This is where you should go. This is John Cale, Fragments of a Rainy Season. This is a live performance. This is just him on guitar and piano. This has everything that bootleg that I showed had, plus a little bit more. And since he wasn't on drugs at the time, this is not unhinged. It's a great retrospective. This is a perfect album. This is a perfect John Cale album to get into and see what he's about. Not available on vinyl from what I understand. If I rambled long enough, I think I have. My John Cale collection. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Take care.